Sing it for me one more time, Freddie. That's right, another one bites the dust as the Trailblazers take care of business in Milwaukee, grabbing a 115-103 victory over the Bucks. Welcome into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you'd like to join the conversation with us tonight, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Or you can grab your phone and you can text us, 88528. Give us your thoughts there. And of course, as always, head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and you can join the chat there as well. What a game. The Blazers took care of business in the best way possible tonight. They left little doubt. They had a big lead throughout this game. Now, Milwaukee did make that comeback late, but the Blazers were able to hold on and do exactly what you wanted them to do, which was win the ball game, right? So you got to give them credit for that. This game started, the Blazers on a 7-0 run. First time out of the game, Blazers led 16-7. They were 5 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. They were up 32-27. At the end of the first quarter, they were 6 of 11 from deep. Jeremy Grant had 13 points. In the second quarter, the Bucks were able to get things going. A quick 8-2 run midway through early on, and they had the 35-34 lead. They were right back in this game, but the Blazers were able to continue their effort on the offensive side of the ball. They outscored the Bucks 33-26 in the second. They had a 65-53 lead at the half. Jeremy Grant had 22 points. Denny Avdia had 15. Bobby Portis had 20 to lead the Bucks. In the third quarter, they outscored the Bucks once again, 30-21. It was an 11-0 run at the end of the quarter in favor of your Portland Trail Blazers, and they led 95-74. They started the fourth quarter in a pretty good spot. At one point, led by 33 points, which is their largest lead over any opponent in the NBA this season. Any of their games, their biggest lead, their score was 109-76. Keep that in mind, 109-76, because from that point on, Milwaukee would absolutely get it going, close the lead. The Blazers would just score 6 points the rest of the way. Meanwhile, Milwaukee would put in almost 30. It was 115-103 at the end. Milwaukee tried, but that 33-point lead was just too much. And I think you can look down at this one, understand that how important it was to start off hot in this basketball game, because that quick 7-0 run, that quick double-digit lead, yeah, guess what? That came in handy at the end when Milwaukee was making a push. Taking a look at the box score, Kyle Kuzma had 15 points for the Bucks. Miles Turner had 13. 10 points for Ryan Rollins. AJ Green had 6. 12 points for former Trailblazer Gary Trent Jr. Bobby Portis led the Bucks with 22, which is also a pretty nice stat to see if you're a Blazer fan, considering he was going off in the first half, had 20. They held him to 2 in the second half. Now, the Blazer side of things, this was a good game. I think you got to appreciate the fact that the offense was going early. They were getting things done. No Drew Holiday, no Shaedon Sharpe. We know how the injury list goes. But Toumani Camara had 13 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Jeremy Grant, very impressive, 35 points. He had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block shot. He was 8 of 18 from the floor. Donovan Clingan, a bounce-back game of sorts as well, a double-double, 14 points, 11 rebounds. And it only says 1 block shot, but man, it felt like he had about 20 of them. Denny Avdia, 22 points, 5 assists, 4 boards. And off the Blazers bench, they were led by Caleb Love, who had 13 points. Rebounding, Blazers out-rebounded the Bucks 48-39. They had 12 offensive rebounds, and I do think that's kind of part of what we were talking about in the pregame show, right? Get the rebounds, get the offensive boards, get the defensive boards, do what you need to do, and the Blazers did what they needed to do. You got to take that one and enjoy it because it was nice. And the next game now against San Antonio is going to be a big one. Once again, this is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. You can follow me on social at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can also join the conversation with us in a multitude of ways. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat there. And last but not least, grab your phone, text 88528, and you can hit the fancy Rip City Radio text line. All right, let's head out to the phone lines where my man, longtime listener, many-time caller, Bryce in Portland is ready to join us. Bryce, welcome into the fifth quarter. What do you got for me?
I mean, strategic. I really like the game basketball the Blazers were playing, getting those aggressive rebounds, and how what I told my roommate whenever I got home from work is like, if you tweeted about the Blazers injuries, you have to click the show me more button. How many people were like not necessarily on it tonight? And I was super surprised. Got off for Blazers leading by about 3 in the early first, and then building into an aggressive 12-point lead. Held that all through the night.
Yeah, they did.
More,
They did. It was great.
20 games into the season, so it is kind of disappointing when you lose. I mean, Damian Lillard hurt Achilles tendon, and then Wesley. Oh, he's my MVP for the first 3 games of the season. Just absolutely cooking the books on fundamental basketball.
No, Bryce,
Like, I think they're fun. I don't know what the consequences are of the Emirates Cup. I really don't care about that. I want a Rodney Hood playoff like explosion.
Yeah. No, Bryce. Yes.
Be my Rodney Hood and then smash it out basketball wise. Right whenever it comes to the play-in tournament, they've made it easier than ever.
Yeah, no, hey, thanks for the call, Bryce. And you know what? The Emirates Cup, it's just fun. It's fun to have some basketball to play in the middle of the year. Maybe take a trophy home, have a little bit of fun with it, win a little bit of extra money. But it's also something to motivate them. I mean, hey, they showed it there in Milwaukee. They got the in-season tournament banner up in the rafters. Which, let me tell you what, I don't know if you happen to see it. They didn't put much effort into making that thing look fancy. It was just looked like a white sheet. Maybe someone took a Sharpie and wrote Emirates Cup champion on it. But when you talk about the injuries, yeah, the injuries definitely piled up for this team, which is why this game is a nice victory because all those guys were still able to get it going. And then, yeah, the Rodney Hood playoff game. Who does not remember Rodney Fresh Legs Hood getting you through 4 overtimes in Denver? Probably the most tired I've ever been watching a Blazer game. Yet at the same time, wasn't tired at all because the energy was off the charts. What a wild game that was. Taking a look at some of the YouTube comments, Sean says Calabro made me laugh 1 minute in the second half. DC got a pass in the post, 1-on-1 on Turner. Donovan making a move. 2 weak lefty dribble and a pass to JG for a turnover was the move. Come on, DC. I like that. Hey, it made me laugh too. And he says DC plays post like a 6-foot guard would, trying to post up on him. And man, it is like you said. Like when if you put a young guy, it's a small guy on DC, they'd probably struggle down in the post. I don't understand why Donovan Clingan, all 7 foot of him, does struggle down low in the paint. Because I have said this multiple times. You guys know it if you listen. I want to see him dominate in the paint. I want to see him get his back to the basket. I want to see him thrive. I don't want to see him becoming a 3-point shooter. He was 5 of 8 from the floor tonight, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. So guess what? He's taken 3-point shots. I know his in the paint game ain't great, but you know what? Maybe you can fix it eventually. All right, this is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. We're going to take a quick little break here. When we return, we're going to hit you with our drive of the night, our shot of the night. Still got Coach's Corner to get to, and we're going to hand out a game ball before it's all said and done. Chris Burkhardt here, joined by my man, Brendan Slaughter, on the other side of the glass. This is the fifth quarter, and you're home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. you if you'd like to join the conversation. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat there. And last but not least, grab those phones, text us. 88528 is that telephone number. Save us under the fifth quarter, or my best friend Chad, or that guy Brendan Slaughter. Brendan Ian An, I don't know. Everyone's gonna spell it different ways. Can't get it right. Oh, Brendan. Yes, well, you know, it's is what is Butcher and the Slaughter together. That's all that matters. Blazers go into Milwaukee, grab a much needed bounce back victory tonight, and this was a game that, quite honestly, I think the Blazers needed in a big way, and not just because like they needed the win. I think it was good just to have all those guys playing a pretty flawless game. And I know this same crew got that win against the Golden State Warriors too, but I think this was good to go get a win that you look at going into the game and you're like, they should win this game. The game against the Warriors, I felt like you were playing with house money because no one really gave you a chance. No one, they're going to lose this game. It's the Warriors. They don't have anybody. And you go and you took care of business and you got an upset victory. In this one, with all the injuries that Milwaukee was dealing with and you were dealing with, you were looking at it going, okay, this one's winnable. You still got some guys out, but they don't have Giannis. They're a much different team without a guy who's one of the best players in the entire world. Take him out of the lineup, that entire team changes. You know what? Maybe we're favored. Maybe we can win this ball game. We feel good about this. But crazy things can happen. It's the NBA. So that's why I think this game was important, because not only did they go in and say, okay, we should win this game. They actually did win the game. They took care of business. Everyone showed up. And I love the way the game started. They were hot right out of the gate. 5 of their first 10, all of them from beyond the arc. Interestingly enough, 9 of their first 10 shot attempts were 3-point shot attempts. So they were just trying to get hot from beyond the arc. It worked. Donovan Clingan had the double-double. He only had 8 and 8 against Golden State, but he looked good. He looked locked in. Jeremy Grant was absolutely phenomenal with his 35 points. Toumani Camara bounced back, had more than 6. Like I said, I don't mind if he's in that 13, 14, 17-point range. Like, get me in those mid-teens on a consistent basis. You're good. And then defensively, they were pretty locked in. You lost a little bit down in the fourth quarter, but also, as Tiago Splitter said, post-game, they were able to play a lot of their guys a limited amount of minutes. I mean, the most minutes played tonight was Toumani Camara and Denny Avdia at 31. So you got everyone kind of out of the game. You got them healthy, got them rested up. And you got a big game coming on Wednesday, because on Wednesday, the Blazers will take on San Antonio Spurs, and it's Cup night, so it's a chance for them to lock in, a chance to go play in the elimination rounds of the in-season tournament, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I've said this before, that the in-season tournament was something I think we all kind of stuck our nose up at early, and now it's like kind of growing on you a little bit. It's just kind of fun to have something to root for before the NBA playoffs get here. It's not the playoffs. It's not the finals. It will never be. But it's still kind of fun to enjoy. And so that'll be a really big game against the San Antonio Spurs. And that's a Spurs team that has been without Victor Wembanyama for a handful of games, as he's nursing some injuries. Of course, the NBA injury epidemic is a thing. But you could try to take advantage of it and see where you go. It doesn't really, tell you much, because even with Victor Wembanyama out, San Antonio has some real nice young talent on that team, but they can get got just like any other team in the NBA. Maybe you have Shaedon Sharpe back. You obviously won't have Drew Holiday back. He's going to be out for at least 1 to 2 weeks. We got that update earlier in the week or over the weekend. So there's a lot there, but point is, you're going to get the Spurs coming to town. You're going to get a chance to get a victory. You're going to get a chance to advance to the knockout rounds of the Cup, and that's big time. That's big time. To me, that's a team that's kind of moving in the right direction. And speaking of San Antonio, like I said, dealing with a couple of injuries, playing without Victor Wembanyama, they've lost 1 in a row. I've lost 1. They have lost 3 of their last 6. They've lost, I think it was 6 of their last 10. Like they've or 4 of their last 10, excuse me. So they're not knocking the doors off. right? They lost to Phoenix 111, 102 in their last game, in a game which De'Aaron Fox had 26 points. But again, with no Victor Wembanyama, it just changes everything. That lineup starting is Vassell, Fox, Cornette, Champagne, and Barnes. So, the who's who of San Antonio Spurs basketball. So Blazers need to take advantage, and if they do that, that's going to be pretty awesome, quite frankly, if the Blazers can advance to that stage, because ESPN picked them to win it when they ran the simulation, and so maybe they got the script. I don't know. If they did, it's kind of weird, but I just want to see where it goes. Blazers, not the only team in action tonight, though. Let's take a look around the NBA. What's going on? The Rockets have a 74-59 lead over the Suns with 7 minutes left. Thompson has 15 and 6. Gillespie has 13 points for the Suns. We saw him firsthand the other day. Like, who? Gillespie who? Oh, okay, cool. At halftime, the Warriors have a 67-55 lead over the Jazz. Jimmy Butler has 13 points. Also at halftime, the Kings trail the Timberwolves 54-46. Keegan Murray has 15 points. Anthony Edwards has 17. Final scores around the association. The Pistons 122. The Pacers 117. The Pistons just 2 losses on the season. Cade Cunningham 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Pascal Siakam 24 and 8. The Raptors continue their surprisingly hot play this year. They beat the Cavs 110-99. Brandon Ingram had 37 points and 7 rebounds. In the Battle of New York, the Knicks grab a 113-100 victory over the Nets. Karl Anthony Towns had 37 points, 12 rebounds. The Heat beat the Mavericks 106-102. Khalil Ware had 20 points, 18 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Denver with a win over the Memphis Grizzlies. Nikola Jokic 17, 10, and 16 assists. And the Pelicans 143, the Bulls 130. Bay led the way with 20 points and 13 boards. Dosunmu had 28 for the Bulls. And of course, the final score in Milwaukee, the Blazers 115, the Bucks 103. Now, I did mention the Grizzlies there, man. Have you been paying attention to this Ja Morant nonsense? Like, I don't know what it is, but let me just say that him and Klay Thompson, I don't think they get along, Brendan. I don't think they like each other.
Who was thought of at one point as being the face of the league has fallen to where he is now. And again, it's not like he wasn't hit a lot of his own decisions, but you just kind of go back and you're like, I bet he'd like a couple do-overs there, Chris.
Yeah, I think he absolutely would. You can't get out of his own way. Supremely talented, but man, I don't know what we're doing. Telling Klay Thompson he's basically washed. He's an old man. Like, man, Klay Thompson, there was a point in time he was one of the best defenders at his position, a great three-point shooter. Like, the dude was a stud.
I'm champ.
Right? I mean,
he's Pac-12 guy, Washington State guy, but Chris, you name me one other person who came out of Washington State and became an NBA All-Star. Oh wait, it's kind of one of those cool things, man.
No, it absolutely is. So, but also, how many? Name another player who came out of Murray State and became a stud. But no, it is weird. As Air Weldon says in the chat, like that's a weirdest beef ever. It really is. I don't know what Ja's getting at. I think Klay is afforded the chance to kind of speak his piece and puff his chest. I think it was the Memphis announcer saying Klay's never been an enforcer. What the heck's he thinking? I was like, nah, Klay's always kind of played with that edge and kind of got into it when he needed to get into it. At least I've always thought he had. And yeah, Ja is just quit John and start playing. That's what we want to see. And the Ja fans will be like, oh, you're talking crap on Ja Morant. No, I just want to see Ja Morant play. Ja Morant's phenomenal. He's a great talent. There's a reason that people are defending him in this situation. The dude's absolutely unreal when he wants to be. But
all the time, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, Klay.
That's a spicy quote right there, man.
That. Yeah, Klay did not mince words. Did not Mintz, where it's just a weird beef. Like Jaw, is he bored? He's not on the floor. He's just got to beef with people. Like, I'd kind of be irritated if like Damian Lillard was out there just like beefing with people. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna play. What are you gonna do? Push the guy who's nursing an Achilles injury? That'd be funny on you. Let me talk some crap. Like, come on now. Like, come on, just play the game, Ja. Play the game. You had the ability to be the face of the league, and just letting it slip through your fingers. Don't beef with Clay. Clay's good. 4-time champ for a reason. I know Steph Curry's greatest shooter of all time. Steph didn't win those championships by himself. Steph Curry and Andrew Bogut as a tandem wasn't beating the Cavs. I'll tell you that much. Clay had a pretty big hand in that. That's right. Good pull, Andrew Bogut. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll head to the coach's quarter and hand out a game ball. Get out of here. Brendan told me he's really tired. He's been burning the candle at both ends, trying to see who the Beavers are going to hire for their next head coach. He's running wild. But before we head to break, let's hit you with our shot of the night. That is actually the drive of the night, because your host doesn't know how to play highlights.
Here's Grant, sees the seam, drives the lob to Williams, and he puts it in. A beautiful feed from Jeremy Grant to Robert Williams III. 112-92.
So shot well the ball.
Turn my computer audio off.
You know, some of the guys saw the ball going in. So I think it was a much needed win. A lot of guys play well, and in a lot of aspects of the game, we won the possession game. I think, yeah, the rebounds. So shot well the ball. Finally, you know, some of the guys saw the ball going in, so that also helps, to be honest. But just the energy, it was great from the beginning to the end. Now we got to keep going.
And you mentioned so many different guys. Jeremy got to the line and had more free throws made than the entire Bucks team. How aggressive did he look tonight?
I mean, he just, you know, trying to create for us, driving, you know, trying to get away from those middies. So just driving, getting his shoulder on people and getting to the rim, but also shooting from outside. So, you know, he's a special player and he's one of our keys.
What have you thought about the way that Donovan has played as of late as well? It seems like he's really been on a great run lately.
I mean, DC is special. This is a guy that, you know, protects the rim, protects the paint. He's every day he's being more comfortable on offense, shooting the ball, shooting his free throws, finishing around the rim. You know, and just being vocal out there and talking to his teammates and putting people in positions. He's being awesome.
It seems Tamani as well. He's in kind of a little bit of a rough start offensively to start the season. It seems like lately though he's really making up for that by being
yeah. You know, numbers they're gonna come back, right? And he's been shooting the ball well in practice during the summer. I'm not worried, and now, you know, he's shooting lately the ball better, and hopefully he keeps this way. You know, he's another guy that on defense, you know, he always guards the best offensive player in the other team. So, you know, he has a lot on his plate, but he's capable of doing.
You finish the trip to one, you're heading home. Another NBA Cup game. If you win that one, you advance in the NBA Cup. Your thoughts on going into that game on Wednesday? Probably thought about it a whole lot yet.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's an important game for the Cup and for the standings as well. But, yeah, I mean, the good thing is we didn't play many minutes, or you know, Danny, Jeremy, Tumani. So they should be kind of like fresh to play that game after a back-to-back. And just, I think we're going with a good positive energy.
It is time now to hand out our game ball. Who impressed us the most tonight? I think it's pretty simple, quite honestly. Giving this one to Jeremy Grant tonight. 35 points. He was a team best plus 39, which is kind of funny because for a team that was up by 30 plus, for a team that won by double digits, only two of their players had a positive plus minus. Jeremy Grant at plus 39, Donovan Clingan at plus 14, a double digit plus minus. So find that kind of interesting. But Jeremy Grant, 8 of 18 from the floor, 3 3-pointers, 16 of 19 from the free throw line, which was a big deal in this game. He also had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block shot. So shout out to Jeremy Grant. Helps the Blazers pick up a much needed victory after a rough outing against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I will say this, though, as we talk about where the Blazers are going to go and, you know, the losses pile up with the rough injuries that they're dealing with, all that stuff. They get this win tonight. They're sitting there at 8 and 10. They're in 9th place in the West. So in that play-in conversation, which is exactly where a lot of us thought they were going to be. The interesting part is the teams below them. Memphis is, what are they? Like Memphis is blank. Especially, we just got done talking about Ja Morant. I don't think anyone knows what that team is going to be, what their identity is, the injuries, everything. Utah is still in that rebuild mode. They're a good team with some young talent there, but I don't know if winning is necessarily their goal or a lot in their future. Dallas getting the injury bug as well. No Kyrie, and AD's missed games here and there, and they're getting Cooper Flag in. I think some surprises are how bad Sacramento's been at 4-13. New Orleans has been absolutely terrible at 3-15, and the Clippers at 5-12. So can any of those teams? I mean, the Clippers have the talent. They're much better than a 5-12 team. So why are they struggling? Sacramento has been dealing with injuries. I think Domantas Sabonis is out for a short period of time, and obviously New Orleans has injuries because they got Zion on their team. But it's just they got teams below them that you maybe didn't expect would be that bad. Portland has that 2-game lead on Memphis, and they're right there in the battle with Minnesota and Golden State. Golden State, a team that they got some victories over. And so, yeah, I think the Blazers are exactly where we thought they would be, exactly where we wanted them to be. And would you want them to win a few more games? Sure. They dropped some games that were winnable, but overall, you're sitting here 2 games below 500 with a very tough schedule. Most of us said at least through November was going to be pretty rough on these Blazers. And their next 2 games, San Antonio and Oklahoma City, and then you get Toronto, who's playing pretty well. You get Cleveland, you get Detroit, but then you get Memphis, you get Sacramento twice. You get Detroit again, that hurts. But then you get Orlando, which you would hope to get a little revenge for the Desmond Bain game winner. And then the day after Christmas, you get the Clippers. So, there's a little bit of a ease up on the schedule, just a little bit for the Blazers here as they get through November. But a big one coming up on Wednesday when they take on the San Antonio Spurs. That's going to do it for the 5th quarter tonight. Once again, Blazers go into Milwaukee, grab a awesome 115-103 victory. They led by as many as 33 points, the most they've led at any point in any game this season. The offense was churning. And keep in mind, they did that without Shaedon Sharpe, without Drew Holiday, without Matisse Thybulle, without Blake Wesley, without Scoot Henderson, without Damian Lillard, and heck, without Javonte Cook. All those guys who weren't playing today. So that makes the win, I think, just a little bit better. A little bit better. They were able to piece that one together. Once again, final score, 115-103. The Blazers will be back in action and back home on Wednesday. Final game of group play of the NBA Emirates Cup, taking on the San Antonio Spurs. A win for the Blazers, and they lock in, advancing to the knockout stages. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock, which means I will have Blazers game day for you at 5. Once again, Blazers go into Milwaukee and grab the 115-103 victory. Tip-off, 7 o'clock against San Antonio on Wednesday. Game day at 5. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your comments, your calls, and Rip City. I'll talk to you on the next one. I hope they get some guys back. Be nice to get some guys back within the next month, right? It'd be really nice to get some guys back within the next month, Sean. I think if you're looking at, now we're off air, but if you look at it, you got Drew Holiday in 1 to 2 weeks. I think he'll be fine. They're just nursing that one. You got to make sure that one's good. So he'll be back, early December. So let's look at that schedule real quick while we're talking. You give him 2 weeks out through Christmas. So probably right around maybe that Cavs game. So December 3rd would be a good one to watch. Scoot Henderson going to be reevaluated another 2 to 4. We did hear kind of early on in the process that it was going to be a December-January thing. My gut's telling me that Scoot's probably going to make his debut. If I'm looking at the schedule, I would circle maybe the home game January 5th against Utah. I know it's a long way away, but still a lot of us were thinking end of December, early January. And then you got Blake and Matisse. Those ones, Blake's going to be out for a little while. Matisse, can't remember the timeline on his, but you got to make sure that ligament is absolutely ready to go. But yeah, you would hope you get some guys back. Shaedon Sharpe has been dealing with that calf for a little bit now this season, and off and on. I think this one, maybe if you can nurse it and let him sit out a few more games if he really needs to, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. So I think it makes sense there. But I'm with you. Hopefully they can get a few players back. All right, that's going to do it for me. Radio show's over. Time for me to say bye to YouTube.